This is WFO Radio.
Hey, everybody, we are back. We are now back. WFO getting closer and closer to the start of the 2022 NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series season. The Lucas Oil Winternationals out there at Pomona, California. The big test out west at Wild Horse Pass next week. We'll be heading that way. In fact, at this time next week, we'll be there, baby. We will be there. It is going to be great. On this show, we have got Austin Prock, the return. This kid did so well behind the wheel of a Top Fuel dragster. And then, things happen, right? But now he's back with John Force Racing, got Joe Barlam, got Rahn Tobler. We're going to ask Austin. He is standing by about the whole deal, how excited he is, all of that stuff. Got some big breaking news going to ask him about as well. Alan Johnson going to Coletta Motorsports, Jason McCullough going with him. That whole crew chief announcement just happened this morning, and everybody kind of knew, but it never happened until it happened, and it has happened today. And so Top Fuel is going to be stacked. We're going to ask Austin all about all of that, and obviously how excited he is as a former Rookie of the Year and race winner to go out there and compete all season long on a regular basis. Austin just seconds away. Share the show. All you John Force Racing fans in the Facebook groups, John Force Racing fans only, and the John Force Racing fan page. Share this show. Make sure all the fans of John Force Racing are up on what Austin is doing in 2022. Real quick, I want to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to do WFO Radio multiple times a week and speak to the fans and racers of NHRA Drag Racing. New sponsor, FTIperformance.com, racing transmissions, torque converters, drag race cars, big money bracket racing, high-powered street cars, monster trucks, mega trucks, mud trucks, any really high horsepower application that also needs precision and reliability. That's what they're good at. That's why their racers have won the $1 million bracket races multiple times. They're a mainstay on the big money bracket racing scene and in NHRA .90 categories. Countless winners like U.S. Nationals winner Troy Williams Jr., $1 million race winner Gary Williams, John LaBousse Jr., and countless others using FTI performance transmissions. If you are going into that scene, if you are looking for that extra bit of performance, FTI can get you started. FTIperformance.com. And thanks to those guys for jumping on board WFO Radio for 2022. We're going to be telling you a lot about their successful drivers. Following in the footsteps of folks like Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, Matt Hartford, going to be out there at the test, going for the championship in 2022. I like the fact that they're putting it out there. Total Seal unlocks your engine's hidden horsepower. How? Frankly, better, thinner, more reliable ring seal. Simple as that. And it enables you to get the most out of those very expensive high-performance parts that you have purchased for your engine. Go to TotalSeal.com, download the podcast, and be sure to check out all the episodes of Hidden Horsepower. But who's going to do all this work, right? Who's going to put all these parts and pieces together? It's kind of funny how it all works. Samtech.edu, educating the next generation of crew members and machinists, engine builders, EFI tuners, all coming up. Generations through samtech.edu. Call Brian Massengill. Tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. You're interested, right? They're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Why not connect with samtech.edu and find out? And once you graduate, they can place you in a job. They have got connections in aerospace. They've got connections in racing. It all depends on what you're looking to do. And then there's Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Frank and Lana Hawley, driving dragsters. I wonder if I know anybody that got their start at Frank Hawley's. I wonder, right? The dragster adventure is what I think you guys should do just for fun, to drive dragsters and learn from Frank. You get to make 3 runs, 1 half track, 2 full track passes. You can even set up a race, corporate team building experiences. But maybe you want to follow in the footsteps of some great drivers out there. Go to frankhawley.com, talk to them about it. Great place to start. You can go back multiple times. Never stop learning. frankhawley.com. And then there's Marvin Rodak, rodakscoffeeandgrills.com, hot sauces and spice rubs, coffee roasted fresh per your order. Marvin Rodak, the man, 817-924-6821. All right, let's go out to John Force Racing and bring him on, the man, Austin Prock. What's up, Austin? How are you?
I'm doing great. Just here at John Force Racing, we're trying to get this team all ready to go, heading out Monday to go stand on the gas.
What does it feel like to be back? Because it was, I like watching you at the track, and I know you like to do all kinds of different, you're a hands-on guy, you'll work on the car, but that's not where you wanted to be. And everyone could tell. And you were so patient, and it worked out, and now you're back.
Yeah, it's still a pretty surreal feeling. It's been a lot of work. I haven't really had any time to even think about driving this race car so far. So we've had a lot of work to do. We put new roll cages on these cars, new front halves, and made a fair amount of changes to these cars and how we do things. So it's been a lot of work, but come Thursday morning, it's all going to be paid off, and we're going to go send this thing to the finish line.
Okay, so tell us what you can tell us. I don't want you to give away proprietary secrets, but why make roll cage changes? Why make, I know the front half of the car, obviously that's performance oriented, but all these adjustments and changes, what's the goal? What's the point?
Yeah, so Brittany has got this roll cage and canopy on. She had it on last year, and the wider roll cage, it just allows for more head padding in the race car. We gained about a half inch on each side, which is huge, for if you have an incident. So my brother Thomas, he actually designed these canopies a couple years back before he went down to Stuart Haas, and it's pretty cool that he's designed this race car that I'm driving, the roll cage and the canopy now. So, and we even got him back on the car. So I'm really looking forward to this season, getting to race with family. Me and my brother, we grew up racing together, and it's all come full circle again at a professional level.
That can't be overstated, right? That this is a family sport. Maybe we would like it to be less family. Maybe we want it to be more family. Sometimes I don't know if it's good or it's bad as a business, the business side. But you got your brother coming in, right? You've got your dad on the team under the same umbrella. You can always go over. It really is a family affair. And now Joe Barlam and Rahn Tobler. Rahn Tobler is you would call him family, but just talk about that. It's your professionals, you're going after a championship, but at the same time, you've lived with and around each other for a long time. That's got to be great chemistry already set up.
Yeah, this is a dream team we've put together. If you would ask me 2 years ago after, I got pushed out of the seat, if someone said, you're going to wait 2 years and you're going to come back with both your brothers working on the car, racing with your old man, having Joe Barlam and Rahn Tobler tuning this thing, making the decisions, and just all around great people that are on this team, I would have told you were crazy, and it was definitely worth the wait. These past 2 years, I was obviously a little bit depressed, and I wasn't doing what I wanted to. And my grandmother, Grandma Prock, she kept telling me, it's all going to work out. Just be patient, and great things go to the ones who wait. And I thought she was blowing smoke up my butt. She was 100% right.
Well, it's true. Well, but you're a young go-getter, right? And it's kind of hard to be patient. And she's got all the wisdom of a lifetime, and she kind of handed it to you, and she was right. And that's the challenge, to stay patient. I'm sure you had other opportunities to do other things, and you just stayed working and kept your head down, and you're now being rewarded. Tell us how it all happened. I know John has been very straightforward that he wanted to bring you back as soon as was possible. At PRI, you guys were out there, beating the bushes, making things happen. You told us at that time, like John was like, we're close, and now it has happened. Walk us through how it all worked out.
Yeah, John, he never quit working on this deal. He felt for me. He could tell that I wasn't happy. And he understood that, because if his race car got taken away from him, he'd be in the same boat. We're both racers, and him and Robert, they kept their nose down and kept pushing and pushing, trying to figure out a way to bring this thing back. And I got to run into Frank Teagues, the owner of Montana Brand and Rocky Mountain Twist. I ran into him at Las Vegas. We started getting the ball rolling. He seemed to look like there was a little bit of promise where we could go back racing. And I put it into John and Robert's hands, and they executed it perfectly. And we're going to be back racing. So I'm really excited about it. I just stated that how excited with the team that we've put together. And I think we're going to be a championship contender. We have great funding. We have all the best parts and pieces. And to top it off, we got the best people too. So I'm looking forward to standing on the gas, and all of us are hungry. Me and Joe, we've sat out the last 2 years, and we both wanted to be racing together. And now that time's come, and, we're not going to let anything get in our way.
I love how positive you are. Keith's got a question. It's kind of looking back, but we're going to ask it. Some of our John Force Racing fans out there asking questions, but like, excuse me, Austin, just dealing with what might not happen, right? This is so rare. There's only so few people who get to drive these cars for a world championship in a full season. Like, at any point, did you think that maybe you had missed your opportunity and that you wouldn't make it back?
Absolutely. That thought went through my head all the time. Like when when I had to stop driving, I thought, what if I never get back in the seat? And then a year went by, then 2 years went by, and I still didn't know till just a few weeks ago. And as soon as I got that news, it was 2,000 pounds lifted off my shoulders. I felt like a new person. I know it's a figure of speech, but I swear to God, I felt it. And it's a good feeling. I feel like me again. And I'm going to treat this season like it's going to be my last one, because I never know what's going to happen next year. So I'm going to go out here. I'm going to give it all I got, and we're going to see how the cards fall, but definitely ain't giving up.
How big a deal was the pinch hitting for Clay that you showed? Not that anyone had doubts, but to reinforce opinions is always good. Like the opinion about Austin is that you're a great driver, great lever with a great attitude and willingness to go out there and do whatever it takes, right? And here was an example where one of the beloved characters in the sport did something that was really admirable and pulled himself out of a situation, and you jumped in and handled it well, handled it with class, got in the car, immediately went right down the racetrack, executed flawlessly. Where does that moment fit in this whole story?
I believe that was when I got that opportunity. I went to bed that night and was like, this is a make or break it opportunity for me. If I go out here and flop and fail, that could be it for me, and I knew I had to go out there and execute perfectly and drive the absolute best of my ability. And we did just that. And it got a lot of people's attention. I felt like gained a lot of more respect from the fans and the competitors out there to get in there, be out of the seat for a year and a half and go up there and compete with the best, on the starting line, keeping it in the groove, having the chutes out on time, all those little things in a car that I wasn't comfortable in. I didn't honestly even fit in the thing. My knee was in my chin when I was standing on the gas. Like the first time I sat in it, my leg popped out of my hip because I was so crammed in that thing, driving it one-handed because I couldn't reach my right hand on the steering wheel. And, even through all those, all those blocks, we still went up there and drove to the highest level I could. So I definitely think that's helped me get back in the seat. I think Frank Teague saw that, and he realized, hey, maybe this kid's the real deal, and now we got another opportunity to go and prove that again.
Frank, he's the real deal, definitely. Austin, I'll tell you, my worries, like I think about my future too, even though my future is a lot shorter than yours, in that a sport where a kid like Austin Prock doesn't have someone to financially back him to go race for the championship, something's up, right? Like, what's up with that? The kid showed he's got best reaction times in the category, as good, handle himself well. When we ask you to do something silly or stupid or fun, you did it, you're willing, you're as top notch when it comes to multiple categories of a driver. And I've been thinking, like, why doesn't Austin have a sponsor? And now that you do, it really makes me feel a lot better about where we are, NHRA Drag Racing 2022. Speak on that a little bit. Like, you're making this your life. You are focused on drag racing now. You must see a lot of upside.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the sport's heading in the right direction. We went through a little bit of a lull there, but, bringing the new teams in and Tony Stewart Racing and bringing John Force having a fourth car back. And then you look at the people that are going to be in the classes this year, the competitiveness of it. I think the racing's going to be great, and that's going to help, explore this sport even more. But, like you said, me being out of the seat and saying all the talents that I have, that's just how tough racing is and how tough it is to make it in this sport. That you have to have all those things you listed off, plus be in the right spot at the right time. And, that's what makes it tough. But I'm just happy to be back. I got my opportunity again, and I hope it doesn't, go away anytime soon.
All right, let's dig down a little bit more on Joe and Rahn, in particular Tobler, because I thought he was done, right? This guy, he's in California, he's paddle boarding, he's enjoying his wine, he's doing all this stuff. It was over, Tobler was out, and just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. How did that happen, that Tobe decides to come back? And please stress to the audience, I don't know that people understand, like casual fans. First of all, the duration of his tenure, championships won and contested, and the great relationships that he has, like your dad and Tobler, and just try to explain what he means in drag racing. And now he's going to be working on your team.
Yeah, all this came to fruition on vacation. We actually went on vacation with the Toblers and the Greens, whole bunch of racing people, the Delagos, and my dad sat down. We were sitting in the pool and, just BSing with Tobes. He's like, "Hey, if Austin gets his car back going, what would you think about coming and working on the thing?" And Ron was, him hawing around. He wasn't really sure about it. And we went to dinner later that night, and he told me, he looked over at me, and he thought in his head, he goes, "Damn, it would be pretty cool to go race with this kid." And he looked up at my dad and said, "Hey, whatever you guys want to say, I'll listen." And weeks went by, and Ron honestly thought nothing was going to come out of it. And the day that he thought that, he got a phone call that evening, and it was Robert, or my dad called him first, I believe, and then Robert called him. And 3 hours later, he was my crew chief. And he called me. We were actually having wine night at my house that night, and he calls to tell me that he's coming to be the crew chief on my car. And I'm like, oh, it's all meant to be, But I still can't believe it. Ron is he's one of the OGs of the sport. He's up there, in my opinion, with Coyle and Alan Johnson and my dad, Jimmy Prock. Like, he's one of the greatest of all time. And to have him in my corner, essentially my second year out on the tour, I got a lot to, I got to come to play for sure, because I don't think the car is going to be struggling at all.
No, I know he'll get it figured out. And I agree with you. And that we think the world of Tobler. And it is going to be great. All right, let's size up some of the competition. Big news came out today about, you mentioned Alan Johnson, and he's now going to race with Doug Coletta. Jason McCullough leaving Capco. That's big news to go up there to Ypsilanti and be part of the Coletta Motorsports team. Conrad Coletta is making money moves, as he always has, to try to bring Doug a championship. And it's very interesting. Now, everybody kind of knew this was happening, but it's now official. As someone who's going to be in the fight, size up some of the competition out there.
I think this is going to be the stoutest year of Top Fuel racing, maybe in the history. I mean, you look at these driver crew chief lineups. You look at the reaction times of the drivers last year. I mean, Sean Langdon, his average was like 0.48 or something crazy like that. So, he's going to have Alan backing him as well. Dougie's going to be stout. He's always tough to race. And then you got the Capco cars. You got Leah. You got Justin Ashley, Antron Brown, all these people. It's going to be tough. There's going to be 8 or 9 cars that can go out there and win every weekend, kind of like Funny Car was last year. You really never knew where it was going. And, and you got Brittany Force and Grubnick. I mean, that thing's wicked fast, and it's going to be tough to keep up with a lot of these cars. But it's going to be fun. That's what we live for. We live for the competition. We live for those cutthroat moments. And it's going to be a lot of fun as a racer, a driver, and it's going to be extremely fun for the fans to watch.
The Tony Stewart operation. People know that you had a relationship with Tony in your sprint car days and got a little tutelage over the years, certainly interaction. And now we pulled him in. We finally got him in here. Right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that, though, the way it's gone so far? I think Tony has very precisely executed the launch of this team and all. And I certainly hope at some point when he feels he's ready, he tries to stage one up in competition. If he doesn't, he still made a huge investment. But that's got to be interesting. What do you think about the way he's handled it all?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great having Tony in the sport, and especially to come out here and execute, building a team like he has in the way the world is right now, how hard it is to get materials and products and things like that. And for him still to make it happen, that's a big kudos to him. But I'm looking forward to, seeing him out there every weekend. We're good friends, and seeing his 2 cars out there competing as well. And I hope Tony gets to plugs his seat in for a couple races, because it'd be damn cool to go up there and line up against him after everything we've gone through in our careers.
You know what? It just occurred to me. We've been joking about SRX and how there needs to be an NHRA representation in SRX at some point. And we've been talking about Caps and Doug and Cruz. Dude, you're one of the top of the list guys for that, right? Like the NHRA SRX team, Austin Prock needs to be on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. Out of all those drivers, I'm the most recent coming from that sort of deal, circle track, asphalt, pavement. And I love doing it. It'd be cool to go out there and, rub some fenders with some of the best.
Let's talk about Force. Okay. John Force, the legend, the icon, the idea that John, he had a career year last year, the past couple of years. Like, John has been on the top of the game, showing the world what's possible after 70. I keep saying it. I think it should be a bigger story, right? Like, I know John doesn't want the cover of AARP magazine. I know he doesn't. That's one cover he doesn't want. But it's a great story, what Force has been able to do. What's his mindset like? What's his attitude like now getting this car back? That's got to be a big boost of confidence for him and the whole team. Give me your assessment of where Force is head at going into 22.
Yeah, absolutely. Force, I think he's going to be more clear-minded knowing that he's got all 4 cars out there this year. It's one less thing he's got to stress about. He wears a lot on his shoulders taking care of this whole operation. And, the clearer your head is going up to the starting line, the better off you are. So, Force, he's impressive to everyone, to go up there 70 years old and hang with the best of them, keep that thing straight and, get it down the racetrack. So, huge props to him. I hope I can race till I'm 70. And, I'm just thankful for him. His heart, he works hard on the track and off the track, maybe even harder off the track. So for him to get this deal back up and running, I'm happier. The shop's happy. All the employees are super stoked that this car's back. And he's in the shop this week, and you could just tell he's got a big grin on his face, and he's ready to get back to it. So I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully we can double up again this year. That'd be pretty cool.
Amazing. Yeah, that was a historic event. You walk in the wing, him climbing the fence. One went well, the other less well, but it's historic just the same.
I'm glad he fell from there instead of me falling from the wing.
Me too. Don't do that anymore, Austin. It's too scary up there. Derek wants to know, does John, Robert, or Brittany ever challenge you on the practice tree? They see the tree in the background. You got one, I got one. But what about that? You guys ever have, you know how it is, putting a little money on practice tree wars? Does that ever happen amongst the JFR drivers? Yeah,
we've never really done that. The only time I practiced against Robert was when I was like probably 10 years old, coming to the races. I used to go up there and, while everyone was working, I was up in the lounge, playing on his practice tree, and he'd come up there and hit it a couple times with me, but not recently. Those drivers, they live out in California. I'm out here. And when we do see each other at the track, it's all business, no games. So not so much, but it'd probably be fun if we did.
Excellent. All right. So I got one more question that I want to ask you because I hear you have and I can't tell you who it's from, a unique way of smoking a cigar. Ask him what he recommends.
I'm not going there, Pat Galvin.
How did you know?
That's his favorite story to tell.
There it is.
It's not.
You're not going there?
It's not camera approved.
Okay. Well, I think that gives us a little bit of insight into what's going on. Austin, super excited for you. Happy that you're back. You will make the sport better. You will lift the sport for all of us. And I know, I don't know if you think about yourself in that term, right? You're a kid who wants to go race, but that's what we need, man. We need kids like you with talent. We need Jordan Vandergriff back here. So you guys, maybe the taking the shirts off thing wasn't the best thing, but definitely to be involved in the sport. And this is super positive. So congratulations. I'll see you at the test. Thanks for coming on WFO Radio to kind of relaunch your driving career here with us. But I expect to see you a couple of times after wins. I can tell the intensity is there. The whole family's on board. Going to be a lot of fun watching. Thank you.
Yep, I appreciate you having me, and thanks for all the support, and thank you for the fans for supporting me through my downtimes and my highs. So looking forward to getting back, and let's go do some damage.
Absolutely. Good luck, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, Austin.
All right, back to work.
Back to work. Right. This guy's back to work. Later, Austin. Appreciate it. Austin Prock with us here on WFO Radio. How about that, kid? So exciting. I'll let you guys behind the scenes a little bit, right? there are many like residual conversations that happen. They happen over again. Like you go to an event and it's feeling great, and then you're like, what's going on? Austin Prock not being out there. Like, how many times did we say to ourselves, why Austin Prock? Like, why is he not out there? Like, he needs to be out there. And the answer was, well, the pandemic and the economy, and we'll get back and he'll be back. There's no way he's not going to be back. But we always wondered, like, is he going to be back? Like, there's a lot of people who've been talented over the years who have not come back. And he's back. He's back. I'm so excited about what we've got going. All right, put your comments in the comments section. John Force Racing fans, we're going to have a little bit of extended discussion here in a moment, but I just want to shout out to the people who make it possible for me to do WFO Radio, like our Patreon VIP Listener Club. Guys, a lot of people have been asking me about the Patreon VIP Listener Club over the past couple of weeks because it's February now and people are getting on board for the year. Someone said to put up the link in the chat section. It's kind of been like the secret society of WFO, behind the scenes, the advisory board. If I want to do a hat, right? Like the Patreons are the ones who decide which way it should be, where the logo should be. I ask them, they have input because they care enough about this show. So I'm going to throw it up in the chat section. You guys can look and see if it's for you. There's multiple tiers. You pretty much choose how you want to participate with WFO, and you get special audio shows and you get behind the scenes content and you get some insight that others don't get. Check it out. But we love our listeners, right? And we love our sponsors, folks like Marvin Rodak and RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com. Like, coffee is part of life. Coffee is life. And this is such great coffee, roasted fresh per your order from all around the world. He literally has coffee from all around the world, and he roasts it once you order it. And so it arrives fresh with a little, I don't know what it is, but it's like bean sweat, like a little oil on there. It's amazing to enjoy some Rodak's coffee. Enjoy Marvin as well. 817-924-6821. And you won't understand until you talk to him when I say that. And Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. The Dragster Adventure is what I push, but great drivers, Austin is one of them, who has been through Frank Hawley's school and have gone on to great things. Frank and Lana Hawley doing great work up there. And we're going to be heading their way when we go to Gainesville. So super excited. But the Dragster Adventure, they come to you. And that's what is most exciting about it. Like, go look at the schedule and see when they're coming near you and go enjoy a day of drag racing with Frank. And it is so worth it. So worth it. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. They say start your education at full speed. I say we must have a new wave of young engine builders and machinists and EFI tuners. We must have this. And it's happening with the drivers. It should be happening with the machine shop as well. And Samtech can get you started. Go to samtech.edu and call Brian Massengill. Ask for him. That's my new thing, right? Sorry, Brian. Got to tell him to call you, man. Brian's like, yeah, they say we advertise on Monday Night Football, and we don't. It's like, well, we're going to make sure that people who hear on WFO say so, right? Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, totalseal.com. If you're building an engine, there is no, and you listen to WFO, there is no excuse. Totalseal.com. You would be spiting yourself if you did not call Total Seal and go to the website. And of course, check out the episodes of Hidden Horsepower, which is all just an exercise in education. And while we're on that note, Gary Stinnett. Gary has become a friend over my term in the NHRA because he has reached out to me and helped with my education of the details of .90 racing and just so many levels. And Gary's episode of Hidden Horsepower is one of the best ones that we've ever done. And yesterday, I get some information about racers, and Reinhardt mentioned it this week, and sometimes people's personal situation is not mine to let the world know. But right now it's time to let the world know. Like, positive thoughts, positive energy, prayers for Gary Stinnett. He needs it. He's fighting. And if you don't know him, you don't know Gary Stinnett, listen to that Hidden Horsepower episode. You'll get a lot about his personality. You'll hear his story. It's the story of his life. He worked with Warren Johnson. His parents met at the first ever Nationals in Great Bend, Kansas. A drag racer was born from the first drag race. It's amazing. You'll get to know Gary through that episode, but we all need to be thinking about Gary Stinnett. And I am just hoping that he pulls through a very difficult deal. And if you don't know, now you know. This season has been nothing but positive, uplifting energy. Like, I'm super excited. Austin and all these guys and everybody is so ready to go, and I'm ready to go. But if we were to lose Gary at the start of the season, and not just Gary, but Ken Kershaw and so many others that are hospital. Ken's from my part of the country in West Palm. Wonderful man. It would not be good. We need to harness the power of positive energy here. So please join me as best as you can, and however you think will work, in sending some sort of positive energy to our racing brothers who are fighting COVID. You know, it's terrible. But Gary, super stock racer, super street racer, .90 racer, 4-time Super Comp world champ. Just love the guy, and really has given me so much education in the .90 categories and what it takes. That education started off early on with the whole big money bracket racing scene. And I bracket raced with Troy Williams Jr. way back in the day. I'm talking about when I was going good, mid-90s. And Troy and Gary Williams would come over from Bradenton and race at Moroso. And sometimes I would go over there and we forged a friendship. And I remember years later, Troy telling me about a new company that was starting off in transmissions, performance transmissions. And that company is FTIperformance.com. And what has been amazing is Troy has been with him the whole time, and now he works there. And their footprint in drag racing and in motorsports has just grown and grown, whether it be transmissions or torque converters for your extremely powerful street car, like they do triple disc billet lockups, like they'll do whatever it is. These mega trucks, there's a new, not monster trucks, mega truck phenomenon that's going on. They have the majority of the transmissions in these mega trucks, not to mention U.S. Nationals winners, $1 million race winners, big money bracket race winners. If you are looking to go into that world where the thousandth of a second matters, repeatability, reliability, all of these things, please go to FTIperformance.com and educate yourself about these transmissions. And a lot of racers out there, they've got their preferred stuff, right? But if you don't have your preferred stuff and you're trying to decide which stuff is your preferred stuff, FTI. And thanks to Paul Lee, who purchased the company a year or two ago, part of the Paul Lee empire, for making this happen. And FTI is now part of WFO. And we are going to, you're going to meet some drivers. You're going to learn about some accomplishments. This is just getting started. Letting you know what's going on with FTI. And for every one of our sponsors, right, it's a little different. It's a little different because everybody needs something different. Everybody wants something different. And they've got a different product. But you're going to know who's running FTI performance parts and pieces through WFO. And you'll be able to see exactly who's winning what. And it's going to be very exciting. All right, get your comments in the comments section. Also, free stuff. Who doesn't want some free stickers, right? By the way, brand new WFO Radio stickers. They are out. I've got the envelopes. I'm going to stuff them. If you want some free WFO Radio stickers, I will send them to you. Castello Media /WFO stickers, P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33084. Self-addressed stamped envelope. What does it mean? Joe does no work, no stamps, no writing, no addressing. I open the one to me. Inside it is the one to yourself. I stuff some stickers in it and maybe something else. You know, every now and again, people get bonus stuff. Mostly that's for the Patreons, though. And I seal it up and put it in the mailbox, and that mailman takes it. Super easy, but I'm more than happy to send you some WFO Radio stickers so you can put them on whatever and tell the world about WFO, because in the end, our greatest marketing, our greatest outreach is you. The listeners. You love drag racing. You found us on YouTube. You found us on WFO Radio TV. You found our audio only podcast for many years now, over 10 years. We've been doing this. If you rock a sticker or get some merch or get some gear, tell the people who are fans of NHRA Drag Racing, this is a great way, not the only way by any means, but it is unique. Our way of showing you and the world the inside of the sport of NHRA drag racing. Really excited. Like, for instance, yesterday, we had a pretty well-known, speaking of merch, all kinds of stuff, the long sleeve t-shirts and the hoodies. Everybody loves the WFO stuff. This one especially, it's going like gangbusters. Everybody loves it. But yesterday, what a show. We had the Big Daddy. Don Garlitz was on yesterday, guys. Don Garlitz talking about his International Drag Racing Hall of Fame induction that will be happening on March 10th, right before the Gator Nationals. And I'll be hosting the deal, and there are tickets still available. If you're going to be in Gainesville, and you're going to be there Thursday night, it's $110 for a seat, which gets you a meal. It gets you a really cool collectible Scotch glass provided by Roy Hill's Drag Racing School. Gets you a lot of stuff. But most importantly, you're going to see Tim Richards go into the Hall of Fame. You're going to see Joe Amato induct Tim Richards. You're going to see Bobby Bennett induct Scotty Cannon and many others. Rick Stewart, the longtime starter, the Iceman, right? From 7 Second Love Affair. You're going to see these guys and all the crazy hijinks that happens behind the scenes. Why don't you come? And one final note about the Garlitz deal. I'm going to show you, the t-shirts will be on sale and everything. But one element of this that I want to take personal responsibility for. And so I'm talking to anybody that's going to be there. I want the younger wave of drivers to support this. And I would hope that if you are one of our young stars, that Big Daddy's International Drag Racing Hall of Fame is someplace that you've got your eye on right now to end up as your career moves on. Football players and baseball players, they all want to be part of the Hall of Fame from the second they pick up a bat. It's part of it. Well, the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame, a worldwide Drag Racing Hall of Fame, is someplace that you should be shooting for. Why don't you come out and be a part of it and see? Plus, I'll be wearing a tux. All right, let's see what everybody's got to say before we get on out of here. Scott wants to know if you're going to pick up a Sick Week t-shirt for me. Scott, sure, you want to get me a t-shirt? You get me a t-shirt. I love the t-shirt, but don't feel obligated to get me a t-shirt, right? Because if there's one thing that I have an overabundance of, as many drag racers do, it is t-shirts and former radio personalities, t-shirts. So many t-shirts, right? My friends laugh at all the t-shirts that I have. I have so many t-shirts. But if you want me to wear a t-shirt, I'll wear it on the air, Scott. That's up to you, buddy. And they're stopping by Garlitz Museum. They're stopping by there. I have gotten so many comments in this little quick, I've totally lost track. All right, here we go. Dragster Jeff, I hope the team, this was for Austin, gels together quickly and peaks in the countdown. Leave hard, go straight, kid. Totally agree. Flea Tree, now I know where I am. Don't feel tardy. I don't feel tardy. Can't wait. That's a Van Halen reference. Can't wait to Austin and Gainesville. To see Austin, to hang with Austin. What are you going to do to poor Austin? I like that kid. Who doesn't like that kid? But and I don't want Austin to be permanently attached to Jordan Vandergriff, because Jordan's a great guy and deserves to have his own aura. But both of them were exactly what the sport needs. We are on the right track. Got to get them back. And Krista Baldwin out there for all the races, like a full season for the Greekette with some money behind her. That's what we need. And we're going. And we're on our way. We just got to keep it going. Talking about Austin. No, we need to get Jordan back out there now, not no. There's my Patreon link. Derek says that Patreon is the bomb. He gets value out of the Patreon. That's great. Keith, proud Patreon subscriber here. WFO rocks. The bomb is blowing up in a good way. Thank you guys for telling everybody else maybe they want to join Patreon. So that means 4 cars for JFR in 2022. That is correct, sir. That is correct. Great energetic kid. Great for the sport. He so is. Yeah, we all want shirts, Scott. 2 Top Fuel, 2 Funny Car. You know what's so funny about Robert Height? It's like, you got Brittany, star power. You got Austin, his youth and exuberance and enthusiasm. And then there's John. And Robert Height has got a ton of championships. The guy is amazing. He and Caps are going back and forth all the time for second win as funny car driver. Don't sleep on Robert Height. They had a down year last year. So what does that mean? I always think like when the greats have a down year, watch out the next year. Just saying. Jay Seelig. Howdy, Joe. Mama Seelig says hello. That's better than Michael Corleone saying hello. Thank you very much, James Seelig. Appreciate you. Hope to see you out there at Wild Horse Pass. I know you're in Arizona now. You need to go, James. You need to go. You can't skip the race. Let's see. Longtime listener, first-time caller. No, now Patreon, says Jeff. Yeah, Jeff joined the other day. He hasn't even gotten his stickers and his patches and his pin and all the different stuff that the Patreons have. And we have announced for the Patreon already, just so you know, 2 very special WFO meetup events. The first, the U.S. Nationals. The second, Vegas 2. WFO Patreons are invited to plan to go to one or the other of those 2 races and whatever other races you want to go to meet up with the audience. It's a group, man. We're like a collection of drag racing fans. Sad news in drag racing today with Gary and with the Australian Nationals. Yeah, they canceled the Australian Nationals down there because they can't get their act together. I don't want to get political about Australian drag racing. Bobby Bennett's got some great comments up there on the Facebook. But many of our listeners are from Australia, and many of our Patreons are from Australia. And, who was going to sanction it? There was a court case and a lawsuit and all of that stuff. And what was the result? What was the result? The racers and the race fans, they get jobbed, right? That's not good. And it's over now, but something needs to happen. Sometimes, like, was it greed? Was it power? Was it ego? Like, I don't know. But all the things that affect everything probably affected that. And who gets jobbed? The fans and the racers of drag racing in Australia. It is very terrible. It's very sad. Thanks for bringing it up, Troy. Prayers for Gary. Absolutely. Afternoon, guys. So happy for Austin. Derek, God bless Gary. I can't even, I want to ask everyone to do whatever it is that they feel like they need to do to avoid this situation. Whether it be because, people don't like masks and they don't like the vax and they don't like this and they don't like that. And then so it's a puzzle. Like, how do you get people? And I don't know any of the situation about any of these individuals, like my friend Ken or Gary. Like, I don't know anybody's history, and I'm not preaching to anybody, but we are racers. And so look what Austin just did about their roll cages. They widened the roll cage to get an extra half inch of padding on each side. That's a lot of work. Why did they do it? For safety's sake. If the virus was a race car and we lost all of these people to some sort of safety issue, we would be making changes to the cars. If racing drivers were crashing in on-track incidents as much as they're passing away because of the virus, we would be spending a lot of money altering race cars to do things to keep them safe. The attitude that makes you want to put a parachute on the back of your race car, that attitude, like, why? The brakes will work. The brakes might work. There's a good chance the brakes are going to work. Why go the extra mile with the safety equipment? Why do that? So protect yourself. I am not in the business of offering up any specifics to anybody, but it's clearly affecting our community and our friends and personal friends over and over again. And now that everybody pretty much agrees that this thing is here forever, right? Morphing, changing, new versions, new variants. Like, we've all agreed. We're going to try to live with it. You see a friend of yours go out in a 9-second car and he doesn't have a helmet on. Do you let him go? You see oil coming out of a line underneath the rear tire of somebody that and they're going out on the track and they're going to go in a 7-second car. Do you let them go? Or do you say something? Hey, man. And I think a lot of people are afraid to say anything. I am. I'm saying it now, but I think people are afraid to say anything to anybody because they don't want to tell anybody what to do, and they don't want to get in somebody's face, and they don't want to get a fight back, like you stick your hand to pet a dog and the dog growls and bites, so you recoil. A lot of people, like, I'm not going there. It's not my responsibility to tell people what to do, except guess what, guys? Man, this guy, Ken Kershaw, not a real big NHRA guy, but he's PDRA, fast car, South Florida, volunteered at Palm Beach for many, many years as security. Racers Racer, wonderful guy. He's been fighting this thing for 20 days, longer. You know, like, I talked to him on a fair basis. Did we ever talk about this? No, we didn't. Never talked about this. Maybe I should have said something. Maybe I shouldn't have. But man, I don't like the feeling. I don't like the feeling of seeing my friends in pain. And so what can we do? What can be done? What is the equivalent of installing more padding or wearing a helmet or backing off the line when the wheelie bar is broke? Think about Dickie Venables at the U.S. Nationals with Tommy Johnson. They could have sent him. Why didn't they send him? It was likely that nothing would happen. Why didn't they send him? Why didn't they send him? Because friends don't do that to friends. Because your personal health and safety is important, whether it be on the racetrack or not on the racetrack. And I think we got a thing going on where there's a lot of just spite going on now. Just like, maybe it's time to get past that. Sorry to go preachy, but you know why. You know why. NHRA fans and teams and family, prayers sent to Gary and his family. Absolutely. Great to see Austin back. WFO, an awesome club, and belong to WFO and all the new Patreons. Get well, Gary. Thank you, Scott. Scott's a Patreon. All my Patreons, they're on here. Joe, can you bring stickers to the Winternationals? Rick, I bring stickers everywhere. Do I remember to take them out of my bag and put them in my pocket? That's a different story. I keep feeling the season getting closer and closer. Can't wait. Keith, love the free stuff I get from being a Patreon member. Ooh, the Patreons are really pushing it hard. Yes, you definitely get me a shirt. Coolest museum on the planet. Garlits, coolest museum on the planet. Travis, what's up? See you in Phoenix, sir. Bring me some stickers. I don't own stamps. Travis, you got it, man. Travis Shoemake out there. Speaking of Frank Hawley's, can't wait to see you and your career continue to blossom and move forward. Way to go, Travis. I'll bring you some stickers. Joe, is your merch store having any supply problems currently? I considering placing an order. Honestly, Rick, the way they do it, they've got like merch. They've got factories that make these things all over the world. And the Australian guys, they ordered it on like Friday and got their stuff on Tuesday. So why don't you try it? Plus the stuff's pretty cheap anyway. So you'll get it. Like, it costs, it's good quality, but it doesn't cost a lot. The quick answer was no. No supply issues for the merch store, man. If you got to deal with me mailing stuff out, then yes, it's going to be slow because Castello is not great at mailing out stuff. That's why we have the merch store. That is why we have the merch store, because Castello is not good at mailing stuff out. I'm the worst. I am the worst. Got 100 other things. I put the link to the merch store up in the chat section right now. One more time. Keith says, Travis Shoemake, I'm a mailman. I can sell you stamps. He doesn't want them, Keith. Prayers for Gary. Mark Stockseth, get the vaccine and be part of the solution instead of the problem, says Mark Stockseth. Mark, thank you for having the courage to say that. You know, I have a friend who is in this industry, and, you know, it's not for everybody. There are a lot of people that have health issues, and there are reasons, like legit reasons why. And for those people, I'm not talking to those people. There are a lot of people, though, that their only reason is spite, and they don't think it's going to happen to them. You know? And that, like, that needs to be our target. Like, hey, you know, friend, man, you got to wear a helmet when you go down the racetrack. How many times do you crash? Never. But you got to wear it every time. And the gloves and the belts and the fire suit. Why? Why do you wear that stuff? Why? Because it's layers of protection. Now, if you are a person who has a real legit medical reason, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. It's not what I mean. But you should do other things. Keith corrects Mark. No apologies, Nito. Joe, folks need to hear this. Yeah, you know, it's just coming out, man, because of the Gary deal. Guys, like, seriously, I'm a person. And this Gary and I sat together at an airport recently in one of those clubs, you know, waiting for our next flight. And we're both wearing our masks and all of that, talking about our hopes and dreams for the future. And Gary just launched a brand new product that he is so proud of, And he was telling me about this product that it's for engines. And, I'll go into the whole deal if you want. I got a couple more minutes here. When you shut down your engine, and it's a super high performance engine, the second you shut it off, and especially at the end of a night at the racetrack, or you leave it in the trailer, condensation and moisture begins to build, humidity begins to build inside the engine and causes rust at the microscopic level. And so if you're going to do the right thing, you're supposed to fog the engine down by spraying something into the carburetor and, kill the engine with that to kind of pickle the inside of the cylinder walls. This is something that has been done for a long time. And I remember Pat Topolinsky telling me that I should be doing that my bracket engine. I was like, really? Even my bracket engine? Absolutely. Absolutely. But like, what's the right product, right, to do that? And the answer is there really wasn't a product specifically for that. Gary invented it. And they are launching that product. And that's why we were talking. And we were sharing our hopes and dreams for like his product, and that everybody is interested in it. And all these engine builders are interested in it. And this was like, Gary's later in life success, like dream that became a reality. And he was on the everybody, Tony Bischoff. We were hanging out with Tony Bischoff, the horsepower king, Stinnett, Bischoff, me, Lakesby, and Bischoff's like, hey man, what's this product? And he's like, well, it's for fogging down the engine. It's a rust inhibitor, but it's specially designed for inside the engines. But what? I want it. I want it. Everybody wants it. It's a home run deal. This guy was like so happy. Joe, how can I help you with WFO? Man, you don't understand. People, we love the race. We love what you're doing out there. And from that to where we are right now, it's guys, it's got me messed up, frankly. I live my life like openly and honestly on WFO for the most part. I'm messed up about it. It's very upsetting. And Ken and others, and I know Scotty Palmer just lost a good friend, and a bunch of people lost a bunch of good friends. And what are we just going to let this keep happening? Racers? Really? We're just going to let it keep happening and nobody say nothing to anybody, and we're just going to if that guy wants to go around and end up dead. And I don't know anybody's personal situation. I don't know. You protect yourself is get in better shape. Maybe symptoms are overweight. Yes, but not Gary. 2 weeks to Pomona. There you go. We're done. Thank you, guys. WFO Nation, see you at Vegas. No better way to visit Vegas for the first time. First time, Troy? Oh, watch out. And then finally, DM your address so I can send out that old Moroso poster. Update, Palm Beach International Raceway. Final thought. Maybe good news? What? So I have totally given up on that. Palm Beach International Raceway is done in April. But now there has been something shared on the web that suggests that perhaps they are not going to rezone the property to enable it to become a Walmart distribution hub, and that they may not. So let's see. Steve, switch to decaf, Joe. Yeah, Steve, God forbid I ask people to, help protect all of my friends together. I'm still messed about losing Glenn and Kevin Self. And everybody knows multiple people now. We all know multiple people years into this. I'm not saying, be nasty. Just that maybe we need to talk about it a little more openly. Just help each other. Just like we would with the cars. Guys got a set of slicks. There's cords showing, right? They're wore out. You tell them. Something's going on underneath the race car. There's a leak. There's oil. Just my thoughts. And if I have offended you, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I'm seeing too much of it. And it's hitting home. Thanks to everybody out there for listening to WFO. Really appreciate you. Prayers for Gary Stinnett and others. Thank you for being a part of the WFO universe. this is going to do it for this week of WFO broadcasting. But Monday, Bruno, another champion on WFO, Bruno Massel. But you can go back into the archive and you can see Alan Brzezinski and Camry Caruso. And this week we've had tremendous shows with Garlitz and Alan Reinhardt. And the archive is loaded. If you're watching on YouTube, we ask you to subscribe and click the bell. That's how you know. Jim Essex. Everybody, thank you guys. Honestly, I appreciate you as well. You know, in this world, there's nothing that's going to get everybody to agree on everything. Like there's nothing that we can all agree upon. But there's some common themes in like helping our friends survive. I think we can agree on. No offense taken. Joe just shows the type of guy you are. Kind of hard. Oh, thank you very much. That's wonderful. All right, guys. Super excited about Austin. Super excited about the test. A week from now, I will be at the test doing special programming from the test. Bang, bang. See you then, WFO. And thanks to Austin, JFR. Good luck, guys. Go get them.